If you come across this, listen to the end. Just read it. Even if it seems like it's all nonsense, believe me, it all happened. It's all real. I never thought I'd write something like this, but I probably should. At least for myself. At least to keep from going completely insane. My name is Andrew, and a few years ago, my friends and I ran a YouTube channel called Real Paranormal Investigations. The name is loud, but in fact it's just ordinary content for people who are bored at night. Abandoned houses, strange noises, creaking floorboards and lanterns, which are no more useful than a lighter. We started it as a hobby, then it became something like earning money, and then all hell broke loose. Real. And not because of the ghosts. It's because of the people. It was fun at first. We found old buildings, often traveled to small towns, and negotiated with locals to be allowed into boarded-up hangars, clubs, or hotels. Once we even spent the night in the basement of a former theater. We knew how to create an atmosphere. Flashlights, night vision cameras, cheap sound effects, and sometimes actors if it was necessary to raise the viewership. But we never went where it could be really dangerous. Until one moment. There was a subscriber. Constant. His nickname is Silent Survivor 89. He wrote under each video. It's always the same style. It's all staged. Do you want real horror? Write to me personally. We didn't pay attention for 3 months until he sent the video. Without words. Without a description. It's just an MP4 file where the camera is shaking, a flashlight is shining into a concrete corridor, and someone behind the scenes is saying very quietly, "They're still here. They live here. They're watching you eat." It was weird. It's not even scary, it's just unpleasant. Some kind of damn subway, bad sound, background and a feeling of something inappropriate. Not otherworldly, no. It's just a feeling that someone definitely lives here. Not lived, not died, but lives. Underground. The guys from the team caught fire. Like, oh great, that's the content, that's tough. I refused at first. It seemed to me that all this was too much. But then there are the numbers, the views, the money. As always. And we answer that guy. He gave the coordinates. Not the address, not the description, but the coordinates. And he asked me not to tell anyone. He wrote that if we go there, we will have a chance to shoot the most realistic and terrible episode in the history of the channel. But this is not a production. This is not a game, he concluded the message. Even then, I thought it was nonsense. Another fan. You never know who and what films in the subway. Maybe it's just a silly horror story. But we went. The point turned out to be on an old farm. Or rather, next to her. The farm looked like something out of a movie about bankrupt hermits. A huge wooden barn overgrown with weeds, a rusty cistern, a house with a rotten porch and many windows in which there was not a single glass. And behind this house there is a descent down. A strange, almost invisible trapdoor in the ground, lined with old bricks. No pen, no markings. It's just a concrete lid embedded in the ground. It opened easily. Inside there is an iron staircase going down about 7 meters. Then there's a long, very narrow tunnel. Bare concrete walls, water dripping from the ceiling, rusty fixtures for something, maybe old lamps. I wanted to say stop, even then, but the team was moving forward. We filmed everything, the sound, the video, and even the sound level on the device. At first, nothing. Just the cold and the smell of rot. It's like an old basement. We walked for about 20 minutes. Everything only got quieter. Not darker, we were equipped, but quieter, as if the silence itself was beginning to weigh down. It felt like the walls were absorbing the sounds. That we're not just going underground, but as if we're going deeper than we should be. We reached a huge hall. Concrete, with metal doors around the perimeter. It looked like an abandoned bomb shelter. In the center is an overturned metal table, rusty, stained with something dark. There's trash on the floor, animal bones, and an old army helmet. And in the far corner there is a sleeping bag and a lantern. Someone lived here. Recently, one of our guys, Kyle, was the first to approach the sleeping bag. There was a notebook there, yellowish pages, written with a trembling hand. No date, no name, just the lines. There is no more food. They won't let me leave. If you're reading this, you've already heard them. They don't talk. They're just watching. Just wait. They will come. We exchange glances. These are not actors. Not a production. It's a real mess. Someone was here. Someone was hiding. Someone didn't get out. Do you know how really scary it gets? not from the screamers. And when you realize that you're really not alone, when there's silence from behind, but it's too thick, when you start driving around dark corners with a flashlight, and suddenly you see trash that moved as if someone had just pushed it, or a broken bottle with the label facing up, although it used to be facing down. We turned around and saw that the hatch above was closed. Someone closed it. Mute. No steps. And then the real hunt began. The hatch above was closed. I remember just standing there for a second and looking at him, as if my brain couldn't process a simple thing. We came here, opened the hatch, and went down. It was open. And now, no. The metal lid lay firmly on the concrete without making a single sound. Not a single click. Not a single clang. Just silence, and now we're down with no way out. Is anyone up? I asked, tried to keep my voice low, as if the volume might change something. Nobody. Josh replied. I was the last to go. No one was lagging behind. The hatch remained open. We turned to Kyle. He was still holding a notebook in his hands, but now his face was tense, and there was something in his eyes like the instinctive fear that animals have when they realize they are in someone else's territory. It could have been the wind. He muttered, but he didn't believe it himself. Or someone was watching. Josh said, maybe the farm isn't so abandoned after all. I cursed under my breath and turned on the radio. We always left one of them in the car just in case. Now that was exactly the case. Reception. Charlie, are you in touch? Charlie, answer me. Silence. Just background noise crackling. Charlie was our driver and safety technician. He stayed in the van to monitor the signal, GPS, time, and oxygen levels. He didn't answer. Maybe his radio's dead. What is it? Someone asked, but again, without certainty. It didn't seem like a game anymore. We decided to go back up. Josh and Kyle were the first to climb the stairs. When they bumped into the hatch and started pushing it, nothing happened. He didn't move. Not by a millimeter. They put something on top of it. That's not the weight of the hatch. There's something on top. The two of them pushed the lid with all their might, but was useless. Downstairs, I watched sweat drip down the backs of their heads, their breaths catch, and Josh's hands tremble. Not from fatigue, but from awareness. Get back. I shouted, don't waste your energy. We need to find another way out. We returned to that concrete room. It was round, with 6 doors around the perimeter. Heavy, rusted, with peeling paint in places. Some had locks, old, rusty, easily knocked down with a crowbar. We had one of them. The first door was opened. A narrow corridor. Stone walls. It smelled of mold and urine. They walked slowly, each step echoing. There are remnants of beds along the walls. The metal frames, some overturned, and the mattresses were dirty and stained, as if someone had tried to cut pieces out of them. There's a bucket in the corner. It's empty. Next to it is a broken plate and a bone. It's human. I came closer. It was a vertebra. We knew what he looked like. We had a video from the morgue for one of the releases. And this vertebra was not old. No rotting smell, no dust. It's like he was thrown here a week ago. We have to leave. Now, I managed to say. And how? Kyle asked. We'll find another way out. Ventilation, a back door, even a damn manhole, but we're not staying here. The second door was jammed. We couldn't even move it. The third one opened, but there was a room behind it. I do not know how to describe it. There was a smell in it that has remained in my memory ever since. It was as if rotten meat had been mixed with dampness, then left in a jar in the sun, and opened a year later. The walls are stained. The floor is encrusted with something yellow-gray. In the center is an iron box, and there's a worn photo on it. Boy, about 6 years old, smiling. It's too open. It's too forced. There is emptiness next to him. It was as if the photo had been cropped, or someone was standing, and then it was removed. Someone lived here, Josh said, or they were holding someone. I added, we moved on. The rooms were different. There are old televisions in one room, all of them are broken. In the other, there are dozens of empty bottles. Syringes. A note, there are no doctors here, but there is pain. She teaches. It replaces pills. We were all silent. Everyone already had only one question in their head. What is this place? Who built it? For what? Why was it closed? There were nail marks on the 5th door. Someone was trying to get out. Scratches. Small, bloody ones, some down to the bone. We opened it. Gradually, the room was empty. Almost. Just a mattress and a mirror. It's big, it's all over the wall. The mirror was dirty, but you could see the other side through it. It's like an operating room. Tables. Tools. A camera pointed at the wall. The wall was plastered with photographs. People. Children. Old people. Men and women. Some had their eyes crossed out. I clenched my fists. We're in some kind of bunker, the devil knows whose. We're filming a real horror. We've entered the lair of someone who is still here. There was a screeching sound from behind. I turned around. One of the doors we passed was open. We didn't open it. Josh whispered, "Someone's here." No one said a word. We just slowly started backing away. No one wanted to run. Panic kills. But a cold fear was already burning inside each of us. And that's where the tin began. I don't remember which of us took a step back first, but soon we were moving in the opposite direction almost simultaneously. Silently. They even tried to make their breathing quieter. No one asked who opened that door. The question no longer mattered. It's open, and that was enough. Fear doesn't need an explanation. It just squeezes you from the inside, like an icy vice. Kyle made a move towards that open door. Maybe he just wanted to look in, maybe to check if we had left anything. "Don't go in there," I said quietly. No, only. They turned around and walked away. We returned to the circular room. 6 doors. 3 follow us. 3 more remained. Going through it again seemed like torture, but staying inactive was worse. The unknown is the slowest poison. The next door was easier. The old lock gave way after a couple blows. The wooden handle fell off when Josh pulled on it. We entered. It was dark inside, but our lanterns burned through the space. It was a long hallway. The walls are roughly plastered. The floor is tiled. But in some places the tiles were knocked down, and the ground was visible under it. There are hooks along the wall. 2 dozens. Low at knee level. There is a bench on the left. It's rusty, and with streaks of something old, frozen. I didn't want to know what it was. There are scraps of cloth on the floor. When I bent down to examine it, I realized that it was a shape. Some kind of uniform. Purely synthetic fabric. There is a faded spot on the chest. Maybe a patch. Someone pulled off or cut it off. Why is an open question. Kyle suddenly stopped. "Did you hear that?" We froze. The lantern stopped. Second, another. A rustle. It was light, as if someone had run their nails through the fabric. Somewhere down the hall. "Mouse!" Josh gasped, but his voice was shaky. No one believed it. We continued moving. There's absolute silence from behind. And here is a new door. Metal, with a narrow strip of transparent glass at the top. It's like old school classrooms. I got up on my toes and looked in room. Table. Papers. And a camera. A real, old video camera on a tripod. It's aimed at the wall. And there's a map on the wall. Not geographical. It looks more like a diagram. Rooms, tunnels, corridors. I didn't figure out what it was, but I knew it at a glance. We are somewhere in the very center. Kyle tried the door. It was locked. Josh picked up a tire iron. A couple of blows, and the lock gave way. There's a smell of dust and paper inside. We entered. First of all, to the camera. I pressed the play button. The screen flickered. The image was black and white. And it didn't come from a wall, but from the last room, where there was a mattress and a mirror. That there's a man in the video. He's sitting on the floor, against the wall, staring into the mirror. He was thin, his hair was matted, and his arms were wrapped around his knees. And he just sits there. About 2 minutes. Then he gets up. He goes to the mirror. She touches him. Then she starts talking to him. We all look at it in silence. I can't hear him. The camera is silent. He's shouting something, waving his arms, hitting the glass. Then it stops, and it just sinks back down. I rewound it. Then back again. The camera was recording for several days in a row. This man lived there. 1. He didn't eat. I didn't drink. I just looked in the mirror. Sometimes he screamed. Sometimes he lay there. Sometimes he just sat there. How many of them were there? Kyle muttered. "I don't know, but he didn't leave here. That's for sure." I went over to the table. There's a stack of sheets on it. The handwriting is uneven, as if someone was writing in a delirium. But the words are clear. I started reading. If you're reading this, then you're here. So you're trapped just like me. Don't look for logic. There are no laws here. Leave everything you knew there behind the hatch. There are different rules here, but no one will explain them. You'll figure it out for yourself. Over time, or you won't understand, and then you'll just disappear like everyone else. Sometimes I hear voices. I don't know if they're mine. Maybe they were left by someone. Maybe they've been erased. You know how a cassette tape sounds when you rewind it too often. It's the same here, only with you. You're not the first, and definitely not the last one. Just don't try to understand. Try to survive, if you can. Kyle took the paper and slowly crumpled it up. He wasn't himself. We won't be like that. I didn't answer, because I felt that something was changing in us. We've been inside too long, and everything we found said the same thing. No one who was here before us came out. I didn't say this to Kyle, but at that moment his phrase, "We won't be like this," sounded like a weak attempt to convince not me, but himself. Words are worthless if we can already feel these walls starting to grow in our heads, as if the silence here is gaining weight, almost physically, as if someone's hand is on our shoulders, cold and confident. We took a few pages and put them in a backpack. Josh opened the bottom drawer of his desk and found an old notebook inside. The cover is almost worn off, but inside there are clean, neat notes. Not about panic, not about despair, on the contrary, about plans. Someone was trying to make a diagram. Not buildings, but behaviors. The recordings were strange, but not crazy at all. 14:32, I hear footsteps. Time repeats itself. 15:12, the same sound again. 15:52, it's like everything is going in a circle. It can be used. Do not open the door after the sound. Don't react immediately. Wait it out. The light deceives. Darkness is better. Check the mirror's reaction to movement. Is there a delay of 3 seconds? Kyle flipped through the pages. This man, he wasn't just going crazy. He was trying to understand. What about us? We're just running around in circles. There was no anger in his voice. More like fatigue. Real. Internal. The one that can't be treated with sleep. The one that comes when you stop believing there's a way out. I felt it in me too. Moving on, I said. There's nothing else here. We left the room. The corridor continued. The plates have become rarer. The sand was cold underfoot, as if someone had recently spilled water here. Although there was no logic in this, the dampness here was constant. There is no source. It was just the humidity, as if the building itself was breathing it. We walked another 15 meters, and there was the door again. It's as narrow as the passage to the storeroom. It's open. There are shelves inside. Dust. Old folders. Nothing that would surprise us. Until Josh noticed a plastic box hanging from the ceiling. He climbed up the shelf, pulled it out, and a tape recorder fell out. The cassette, the old one. And the tape is inside. Signed by someone's hand. Do not turn on unless necessary. We exchanged glances. What do you think is necessity? Josh asked. Well, for example, if someone was following us, Kyle chuckled. Or if we were starting to lose each other. I clicked play. The tape wound up with a slight crunch, as if inhaling air after a long silence. The sound went off. A woman's voice. Clearly recorded in a calm environment. If you're listening to this, you're still alive. And that's a lot. I was here with a band. We thought it was just an abandoned building. Stupidly. We came for a story, but we ended up being part of something that didn't want to be known about it. Not in the way they say it on the forums. Reality doesn't hide itself. It's just not for everyone. If you've reached this point, you have a chance. But only one. Don't trust anyone. No voices. Not to my eyes. Not even to those who are next to you. If you start noticing that someone is behaving the wrong way, don't check, don't make sure. Go away. Immediately. Even if it's your friend. I pressed stop. Silence fell again. But not like before. Now she was pushing. We need to leave, I said. We won't know what happened here. And they shouldn't. And if one of us, Kyle began. Shut up. I didn't know what to do. We were deep inside. Going back means going through the same thing again. And every turn, every room, every little thing could be almost the same as before. Something in this design was changing. Or so we thought. But the feeling wouldn't let go. And suddenly there was sound. Ahead. A thud. Then another one. "It's not an animal," Josh whispered. "No," I agreed. The sound was getting closer. And footsteps, but not heavy. It's like someone is walking on a wet floor in rubber slippers. Slowly. A couple steps. Pause. More footsteps. We froze. "What if it's someone like us?" Kyle said. "And if it doesn't?" I replied. The third step was closer. I pointed the flashlight in that direction. The beam hit the wall, and it was empty. Then it flashed. Leftward. A jerk. Something moved, fast. We ran. Without words. Without a plan. Just into the darkness, to where we thought there was a way back. Stumbling, clawing our hands against the walls, we rushed through corridors that we no longer recognized. Everything became a mess. Turns, doors, shadows from their own lanterns. Then the stairs. Down. Very narrow. Josh broke first. Kyle followed him. I'm the last one. When we fell down, I realized this is a dead end. A small room. Blank walls. One door is the one we entered through. All. "Close it," Josh shouted. We slammed the door, found the iron bolt, and snapped it shut. All. It's safe for a while. Or her illusion. We sat down. Everyone is in their corner. Quietly. Long. I was looking at my hands. They were shaking. Not even out of fear. From internal breakdown. "We're not getting out of here, are we?" Kyle asked. "Not yet," I said honestly. After a while, we realized that we had been sitting in this concrete cell for hours. None of us knew what time it was. The phones hadn't been online for a long time, and the batteries were running low. The air was getting heavier. It wasn't stuffy, no, it was just like there wasn't enough oxygen, even though the room wasn't airtight. Maybe we were slowly starting to go crazy. Or just tired. Or what we've been through has left cracks in us. Josh was lying on his back, staring at the ceiling. Kyle paced the room for the 5th time in a row. I just sat there, trying to keep my thoughts in order. Recordings from a tape recorder were playing in my head. Every word, especially if you start noticing that someone is behaving wrong, don't check, don't make sure. Go away. I tried to ignore it, but in the last 20 minutes, something about Kyle has really started to change. He wasn't just walking, he was whispering to himself. It's illegible. Sometimes he stood against the wall, stroking it with his palm. As if I read it. I looked at him and felt anxiety rising inside, not fear, but anxiety. Something that clings to the chest and begins to squeeze. "Hey," I said, "why don't you sit down?" He didn't answer. He just kept wandering, then suddenly stopped and looked at me. His gaze was blank. Not evil, not strange, just a stranger. "We have to go," he said. "Where to?" Josh asked. "From here." Now, he pointed at the wall. There. The walls were bare. No doors. Nothing. "Kyle," I began. "I saw it. I saw them coming out. Right here." He came closer, ran his hand over the concrete. "Here. She's moving. You just need to apply the right pressure." I got up. Gradually, he came over. "Are you sure?" He nodded. "There are too many doors in this building. They're not all real. This one is real." Josh exhaled hoarsely. "He's lying. Look at him. It's not Kyle. It's not Kyle." I turned to him. "What are you talking about?" He wasn't like that. He didn't say that. His movements are different. The voice is a little quieter. "Take it easy. He's not ours." And I realized now I had a choice. Trust Josh. Or Kyle. Or maybe they're both going crazy. Or maybe it's me. I turned away for a second and heard a rustle behind me. He turned around and Kyle was standing close to the wall, both palms pressed against his forehead. He was pressing something. I took a step closer and then he whirled around. His face is ordinary, but the look is not there. Not in the eyes. It was like I was passing by. "Will you come with me?" he asked. I was silent. "Or will you stay with him?" Josh jumped up. "Don't listen to him. He doesn't lead us to the exit. He leads us deeper. Inside. Everything he does is done from the moment we went down the stairs. He's not just weird. He took us there. He brought us here. Don't you think about it?" Kyle looked at me calmly. "You've already chosen," he said. "I can feel it." I took a step back. He didn't do anything. He just turned away, and the next moment Josh's fist hit him hard in the temple. Once, Kyle fell, mute, without shouting, just like a bag. Josh ran over and checked for a pulse. He's alive. While I sat there unable to move. What have you done? I saved your life, Josh said. Or tried to. We were silent for a very long time. Then they started knocking on the walls, not because they believed in help. It's crazy otherwise. Another hour passed, maybe more. Kyle began to come to his senses. He didn't scream. He just lay there. Then he sat down. He said only one thing. It was unnecessary. And silence again. In the end, we found a way out. Accidentally, one of the bricks gave way. Behind it is a ventilation duct. Narrow, dirty, with dangerous bends. But a real one, not an illusion. Real. We crawled along it for an hour. Or two. When we got out, the sun was already setting. We were at the bottom of the hill. The abandoned building behind him stood quietly. No signs of strangeness. Just concrete and glass. As it should be. We didn't say a word until we were in the car. Only then did Josh speak up. We have to keep quiet about this. To nobody. No videos. No notes. Not a word. Forget. Just forget it. I nodded. Although I knew I couldn't forget. We left. Silently. Each of us took our own version of this story with us. It's been a long time. I'm not writing this for fame right now. Not for the likes or views. But because I want someone to know that not everything that is called paranormal is really out of this world. Sometimes it's just places that shouldn't have been found. And not because they are cursed, but because they are the result of mistakes. Human ones. Logical ones. Cruel.